This is our old staircase. We're not going to fool ourselves. The uncomfortable, narrow, and dangerously inclined steps led us to replace it. We transported the necessary wood, and after doing hand-in-hand footprints, counter steps, and even our own stilts, we are going to see the step-by-step. After finishing the floor of the upper part, we had to cut one of the pontoons that served as a beam. For this, we had to place a pillar as a column so that everything rested on the ground. We showed this part in episode 39, so if you haven't seen it, we recommend it. We simply buried it, closed it, and the next day we were able to get to work with the initial layout of this staircase.
Make the staircase in a certain way, so that the last step, instead of being at the height of the platform, had a step, that
the platform would be the last step.
Exactly, that would be cool. The step will be about 20 centimeters, according to your count. The measurement won't be exact. And what I don't like is that all the steps have 20, and suddenly the last one 18.
Your sight doesn't see or foresee it, and one day you stumble. If the last step will be very different, or
That is, it's not going to follow the same dynamics of the staircase, so it has to be done differently. It has to look different. For example, if all the steps are 20, well, that one of 14, that you say, this one. Step is different from the one you go up, right? Well, in this case, it's much worse. It's certainly higher, not lower. But, well, it's not cool. So what we can do is calculate so that the last step is, for example, about 10 to 12. Okay, and in fact, there what we can do is like a landing to leave the shoes. Well, to tell you something, it can make sense. And certainly it's not going to look bad because it's going to be aesthetic. It's going to look quite nice.
then I think we have to make a small cut to that platform and start putting some woods to cover everything.
So the first thing we have to do is measure the height. The parts of a staircase are very simple to explain, right? Let's say the tread, better said, where you step, the tread, that would be the tread, the riser, where you would hit with the tip of your foot. And let's say this whole part, which is called the stilt, which is, let's say, would be this right now, this would be the stilt. Obviously, it would be missing the shape of the ladder. We are going to make the stilt. To make the stilt, in this case, we have it a certain space. The ideal is always for a footprint to be approximately between 30 and 32 centimeters. So that a whole foot fits in, and a counter footprint is around 18 centimeters. 17, 19, somewhere around there. This is the ideal staircase that you can comfortably go up and down, regardless, even a very old person or a child.
Yes, it's not going to be too steep.
It's going to be comfortable. It's going to be super comfortable. We're going to try to make it as similar to this as possible.
But in the end, we have a certain space. It kills the space. Certain rules. The space, right? We can't invent space. And what are we going to do to generate more comfort? To not enter through that corner? Is to make a stilt up to here, then make a landing. On the landing, we're also going to put a staircase and then 2 more steps. Up to here, so that a person enters, has a first step, a second step on the landing, a third step, a fourth step, and the rest of the steps. How many? Well, that's what we're going to measure now. We're going to take the measurement between the platform and the floor. The first thing is 244. From here we have 244, 244. For example, we'll subtract 14. That later, when on the last step, we put the step board on the tread. Here, we're going to put a board. We're now going to subtract 14 from the stringer, but then we're going to add the 2 from the step, so that the difference we are leaving is 12. It's half a step, more or less. It's going to come out there, so it's totally clear. From the one you go up, that step is different. So if we subtract 14 from this, we have 230. If we divide 230 by, for example, 10, we would have 23. If we divide it by 11, we take out the calculator and divide it. Because I am incapable of doing this. The crazy thing is, to make it easier, since it goes up slightly and we don't care, if we leave 10 at 12, what 11 are we going to leave a step of 21?
What does this mean? Said more simply, one step, we go 21. What does this mean?
Said more simply, one step, two steps, three steps, four steps. We are already here. From 4 to 11, 7. That is from here to there. We have 7 steps. All the steps have a counter tread of 21 centimeters. What is the tread? Let's go see it. We gave it from up there, which is where the step, the ladder, is going to stop us.
I wanted to say.
Up to here, which is the most important of everything we have. Because this is the most determined distance of all. And it gives us 182 divided by 7, which are the steps that...
We have 26.
What does it mean then?
Does it mean like now, this is my front part, this is my back part? Why is that? Isn't it? Coco. This is my part of the front. This is my back part.
26. Now, do these 2 steps fit us with a 26 footprint? Why do I say that?
This is where it starts, right?
And then we have 26. And 26, that is 5250 and...
Fair enough, okay?
Yes, with me, okay? Let's see, I am marking, but yes, it fits us. So we said we have... As we enter, we turn to the left. In height, that is, against the tread 21 centimeters, and of tread 26 is little.
We had said that the ideal was between 30 and 32 because look at my foot.
Because my foot doesn't fit in size 26 shoes. The stilt is size 26, but the step can barely fit a coin. The board you put on the footprint can be larger than the stilt itself. So we can leave another 2 centimeters of board to 26 and we would have 28, which is not exactly ideal, but it is within the good. So first, second, we have already gone up 21 and 21, 42.
Landing.
Split in half into 2 triangles. A landing is this square part, split in half into 2 triangles. That each of the triangles is a step, third step. We are at 63, fourth step, 80.
Remember not to eat too many nuts because they make your feet grow a lot.
Sleep standing up.
Let's see, they're big, huh? Because if not, but well, come on, go. 80 and 84, 84.
One would have to consider that I'm not considering it. That the ground still rises too. Centimeters.
But well, roughly speaking, we are doing well.
How about 2 centimeters of water that we are going to put? Do you know what it's like? Is it the wood imitation?
It's the tile that will be about 1 centimeter, plus the pergola that will be, it won't reach 2 centimeters. But well, it's more or less a shape.
So does it mean that the calculations have already come out well?
7 steps that we have left from this corner upwards. 7 steps at 21 centimeters of riser. 7 times 21 is 147. And we had said that the height from the platform to the floor was 244 minus 12.
Or minus 14.
If you subtract 147 from 230, the result is 83.
80 and...
Everything is perfect and incredibly squared. Suddenly, the staircase appears.
Can you leave those screws to be put in?
How are we going to do it?
The style is that part where everything's going to be held up later.
Why doesn't the style lean against this?
No. We're going to put it inside because then the step is left hanging. Because you think that a step? We are going to have a distance here. We are going to make some steps of about 70 or so, 70. The steps will use strong boards, but ideally, they shouldn't be secured at the ends, allowing them to sink in.
Into the board. Okay, that should be as minimal as possible.
Sure.
Exactly. So
what we're going to do is put the leg here and put the leg. Well, let's see if we can put it at 10 de la piedra. Yes, it would be ideal. That's what we're going to try. Because if you notice, well, there's going to have to be a straight line, right? There are no straight lines here.
So let's go.
To see how things go once we have the piece made.
And how do we have, in this case, extraordinarily the fact that the last step is going to have a completely different measure than the previous ones? And we don't care in turn whether it's 10, 11, 12, or 10 and a half. So we're going to do this part, but we're not going to anchor it. And we're going to do this part, and we're going to do the landing. We're going to do the bottom part. And finally, here we give it that centimeter up or down in
Function of...
how everything is squaring up. And now we are going to learn how to make a strut. Let's do it.
One thing that seems silly, but only seems so, is to look at the plank, and in general, the planks.
Look, come here where I am. This plank, if you notice, has, let's say, that here was the center, right? Maybe it looks better from the other side. Let's see. No, it looks good not only there. Looks right. Okay. Here it makes the rings. Okay, the rings there.
The ideal is that the part that carries the way you are going to step on the ladder has the bulging part upwards so that it acts as if it were an arch.
Do I explain that? As you step on it, it receives the forces much better than if it were facing downwards, which is more likely to end up yielding and splitting in half. It's a minor, nonsensical detail, but we'll consider it. Honestly, this will hold up whatever you want. The next step is to take a square. The ideal would be to have a carpenter's square. Carpenter's squares are thinner and also have metric measurements. It's going to mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. Over here too.
It's a Mason square. Well, we're going to use a Mason square. You could use a square or a Faber-Castell plastic set square. Use what you have. If you don't have this, use the plastic one. If you don't have anything, simply use a set square. You do it little by little with care. Now, having a sufficiently long square, we're going to be able to save a lot of time.
Let's measure. One side 26, the other side 21. Tread and against tread, tread. 26 here. 26, this is the measure. 26 against tread, 21 here. 21, 21. Now we put a small plank. This straight like this, which is quite straight, and we put it there. And now we put some clamps on it. For example, anyone who is a welder will have strong clamps.
We have some silver ones.
We'll put this right here, to be continued. Okay, the place was...
Let's see that I don't lose. Okay, that's the step.
This is our step.
If we keep doing this, if you notice, we can keep marking. Look how cool, and we already have the mark. We just have to go to the next one. Hence this mess. Let's mark first, the first one. If we mark here, it's like we're upside down. To be able to visualize what we are doing better, we would do it like this, to visualize, to understand what we are doing. If we put this here, when we put this, we will see that the foot goes here and the toe goes here. When we mark the next one, our foot will go like this, it will do here, and the toe will go here. It means that this here would go like to the ground, this would be on the ground.
Yes, first step.
Let's put one, otherwise we'll get confused later. Okay.
Let's go to the second step. Look how easy we come here. We have the second step.
Good two. Let's go to the third. There.
Third step.
You have
fourth step. How wonderful and how easy. 4, 4. Here we had to get 7. Do you remember if... 5. Fantabulous 6. With this system, you can make a ladder. Anyone. It's not just about copying. Is it just about copying? You don't need to understand what you're doing. 7, 7.
Well, then that's it. Now we don't need all this setup anymore. We need to recover the 4.
In the first one, we come and rethink our actions. As I understand, it's difficult to comprehend.
This is the ground. The ground. Step number 1 means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The ground. From down there, the ground. Yes, you take the first step. Even though it says 2 here, it's 1. It's the first step.
Which means that this, if we realize, has to be like this to lean on the ground, on what is the ground. The only thing we have to do is take here, for example, and mark a square.
a 90-degree angle. I say square, but well, it would be better to say and easier to understand, 90-degree angle. Since this is the floor, this rests on the floor. Also, if this were the floor in our case, it's not going to be the floor because this is actually going to be step number 5. But if this were the floor, we could remove a little piece here, and then on the floor we would put a little piece of wood so that this would never slide backwards. We are not going to do it. We are going to remove all this wood. First step, second step, third step, fourth step, 5, 6, and we reach the level. And here how we break it, also putting the square and turning it upside down. That is, if this goes to the mark is a little more.
Oh, sorry.
This now would have to go in there about 20 centimeters, 20 something. Now the idea is for you to hold it there and for me to mark with the pencil. Okay, lower down. Okay, this is going to go about here more or less.
And there's another part of removing the stone, and let's see how we do it.
Will we be able to do it?
I believe that, yeah.
It starts like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like this and then like this.
Okay, this is the part we're going to cut. To put this from here, let me not get confused, then the time to cut. All of this goes outside, this goes outside, it goes outside, it goes outside, and it's so that it fits up there.
Yes, but don't you have to make the same cut from the other one?
I don't think so, but what I'm trying to tell you is that we're going to trace it and we're not going to lay it out again. Because any mistake this one has, it's good to keep it for the other one. If we create 2 layouts, one can push you left and the other right, and we could mess it up. We'll take the only thin pencil that marks well and slash it, as this one marks very thick. Carlos marking. We keep marking. Hey, how easy it is to mark. We're going to mark it.
Now it has to be left out.
And yes, that now when cutting the pencil, it has to disappear so it doesn't get bigger. Does the pencil disappear when cutting? That's the story. That's ours. Well, the tiger again. Time.
That I have come out of a factory.
Yes, I think if we make 10 like this, we already have the scale. Nothing else is needed. 1 is 10. Oh, is that true? Do we do if it is? Well, I hope so, but we have to place it down here, right?
With stone that you don't see here? Yes, here.
Let's see, Carlos, we're going to make the first 2 steps. The first 2 have a different characteristic. The first 2 steps. Let's recall how it was. We enter through here. This is the floor.
The floor.
This is the floor. That is, we enter here from the street. If we go to the left and see the first step, the one we call 1-1. Now there were 2 steps. We marked the second step, and now we mark the third step, which is where we cut through here. So this would already be the platform, the leveling, the landing. What is the special feature of this? Once we have the stilts, we put a plank from stilt to act as a step. We put it here, where we put our foot, which is the footprint. What happens? That has a size, for example, 2 centimeters. Or if we do it like this, 3, like this, 3. If we do it like this, 3. So here we are going to add 3 centimeters. Here we are going to add 3 centimeters. But here we are not going to add 3 centimeters. So it's important when we put the stilts on the finished floor to subtract 3 centimeters from this part.
Yes, understood.
So we do the same thing we did last time. Where we ended with the last step, we go a few blocks inward. And we're going to cut. Come on.
Oh, my Mausita, where are you coming from, Cateño? Where are you coming from, Cateñona? Where are you coming from, Cartiñona? Hey, Cariñona? Oh, Cariñona. Hello, no.
Well, if we haven't messed it up, we're going to go up by here more or less. And you see this over here and so on. And in fact, there, of course. To this, in principle, what I was telling you, if we make a small cut here like this, in a small way, like this, a little square that we cut off, and then we throw a board from here to here. We could point the board to the ground, and in that little bit,
That's what prevents it from coming out?
this is not necessary because we have it pointed both to this beam and to the platform we are going to make. In fact, we're going to put it on the floor. Well, there should be 21 there, if you want to bring the meter closer.
Here.
Where the other line is 44, 44.
Well, the sun part is missing. Ah, of course. Do you think you're going to go up? Good.
Well, now we're going to make a platform with all the leftover pieces. How are we going to do it? First, we're going to mark where this other little piece would go here. This is going to be the left, and here left. So the other one must be the right one.
Are you the doorman? Are you the doorman of the building? I understand. Are you the doorman?
So this is a step. The first would be to put one here and another one here. And then the riser. Here we are, very good, perfect. That's how it stays. Let's see how I lower this without dying. Let's see who moves this now. With this wood, the perimeter of all the part of everything that is, I can't remember the name, what would be the perimeter? We put it here, we raise it. By here, we lower it. And we put another one below. And also, at each of the doors that is yet to be decided, I think we are going to make 3, one door, another door, and another door. We would lower another one so that we can put the hinge. For interior, we would decide that based on which door we want, and we would put another one. Oh, what a hit I've taken.
I carry 2 for the following reason. How is this going to be inside? There has to be ease of entry and spaciousness, because you might have to take out the battery or you don't know what. The door doesn't need to be narrow. It could be like this one, for example. Wide, like this. Wide halfway, we make 2. Proceed, as you're unaware that a door is needed to remove this.
Here and another door here. Nothing more. And a parceling, so to speak, in the middle. Then, to beautify this part, we can either go with a strip like this. We would make the perimeter both here and here. And then here we would have to choose the strip that we find most elegant. And I would burn it with the blowtorch and change the color a bit. I would make it black. We burn it with the blowtorch, and the charcoal itself paints it. What we had talked about, that Japanese technique. Because the step is going to be white, this is going to be white. We suddenly have this old wood. I think it's beautiful, and I wouldn't even sand it. I would leave it old. And we would have a strip going all around the perimeter of the stringer. Additionally, it looks stunning when burned as the grain and all the details are accentuated. It's yours, 100% yours. And what about this? Oh, guys, this is great. Of course, well, it's nothing, and that's how it goes. Well, it's more or less covering it up. Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement? Maybe we'll put the other one better. We're gonna leave it as much as it can hold. It's there.
How are we doing?
I'm not sure. Let's see. The last, Carlos?
It seems very short, doesn't it?
Oh, look, almost clear. There's no need to even put the latch on. We're going to make the steps. You know what the problem is? Over there, it's slightly wider than here. So we're not going to have a single step size for the tread and the riser. Each of the treads and risers we're going to have to measure and make specifically for each of the steps. So to make a tread, what we're going to do is leave a little bit more from that part. In some places we won't even be able to. Because the stone is already there, we measure it, touching the stone, we measure to the other strut, and we're going to leave a space for it to fly, for the step to fly.
How much?
Since we're going to put this strip to beautify underneath, we're going to count it, and from this strip, we're going to leave it. 2 centimeters. The strip measures 1.3. I think they are 13 millimeters. 13. In the world of practice, we would have 61. 5. To the stilt, plus 2. 63.5 plus 1. 0.3. 64.3. Then we would have for the footprint a board of 64.3. Let's take it. Instead of taking it up to exactly this part of the stilt, we're going to leave it a little bit more, and we're going to cut it so it looks more aesthetic. We're going to leave it a little bit like this. Since the boards come cut to 35, we're going to leave them whole. From here, we're going to put the counter tread over it so it fits on the tread. That is, the tread is going to touch. Here it's going to have a piece floating around here behind. It's going to have another piece that has to overcome the tread below. And it's going to have another 2 centimeters of overhang from the counter tread that we're going to place here so that these 2 centimeters not only protrude from here, but also protrude from here. A bit of a hassle to explain everything, but it's going to boil as we assemble it. Let's cut. Very well. First, it's very good like this. It's going up, and then with these trims, or well, this a little tucked in here, maybe it doesn't even look nice.
26 of footprint.
Give it 3 more to cover the counter footprint, and add 2 more to create an overhang extending beyond the counter's footprint.
That is 31. Yes, 31. Yes, well, they are all going to be 31.
It turned out well, didn't it?
Yes.
We will give less overhang, a tad less, or the same overhang, a tad less. So there is, I think, a tad less. So there is a difference.
Here.
So does this have room to get to the reducer in this? How about?
What's up?
We will try it. It's here. So this.
By 18?
Well, next.
Let's see how it turns out.
It down here like this.
Yes, but then it doesn't.
Because it goes underneath.
this goes like this. Plus? Okay. We have it. Here?
That's it. Another board of this longer.